What's happening, everybody? It's Sean with reactions to the classics. Today we got a Buffalo Tom top 10 brought to us by a friend, longtime supporter and patron of the channel, Slade Said. Thank you, Slade Said. Appreciate you. Appreciate all the patrons that make this thing go. If you'd like to support us in any way, check out that Patreon link below or the Patreon link on the end screen. We couldn't do it without you. We're about to celebrate our 5th anniversary, and we put up tons and tons of videos every month in the Patreon to make that happen. So our sincerest thanks to you. All right, let's jump into this a little bit. Slade says, for my December list, I chose to do a top 10 list for a band I've promoted a couple times on this channel, but they're still a relatively unknown band to most people, even if they have released albums since 1988 and to this date have 9 full-length studio albums, plus some other material to their name. The band Buffalo Tom, a trio from Boston, Massachusetts, were formed in 1986 and have featured the same 3 members since the beginning. So let's just stop on that for a minute. Same 3 members since 1986. That is an incredibly rare thing. Bill Janovich is the band's primary songwriter and composer and plays guitars and lead vocals on most, but not all of the songs. Chris Colburn is the band's secondary songwriter, composer, and plays the bass and also lead vocals on some songs. And then we got Tom McGinnis is the band's drummer and is featured as a co-writer on a number of the band's songs. Let's get a little history of them. They released their first self-titled debut album in 1988, which was produced by Dinosaur Jr.'s Jay Mascis, a friend of the band. Dinosaur Jr., absolutely fantastic. The follow-up Bird Brain, also produced by Jay Mascis from 1990, was a good effort, but I personally didn't feel like it was a huge step forward at the time. This would change significantly with their third album, 1992's Let Me Come Over, which in my opinion is their best album and one of the best alternative rock albums of the 1990s. Wow, that's a big statement. But Slade Said knows his music. The follow-up, 1993's Big Red Letter Day, couldn't live up to its predecessor, but it was still a very good album. The production was a bit slicker. I would guess that the success they got from Let Me Come Over pushed them to think a bit more commercially, but still, like I said, it was a very good album, or the record company was thinking that, right? 2 years went by until Sleepy Eyed was released in 1995. This album is not a favorite of mine by the band. It still has a fair amount of good songs, but my overall impression of the album is that it lacks a bit in song quality compared to the previous 2 albums. The band played in 1995 in the final episode of The Jon Stewart Show, a show Jon hosted before The Daily Show, which he hosted between 1999 and 2015. Buffalo Tom was allegedly Jon Stewart's favorite band, and when asked what band he wanted to play in the final episode of his show, he asked for Buffalo Tom. High praise. The band spent 3 years on their next album, Smitten, which was released in 1998. I can see on the allmusic.com website that they rate this album to be their worst. I totally disagree with this. I find it to be an excellent album with the song quality on par with at least Big Red Letter Day and definitely superior to Sleepy Eyed and their first 2 albums. After this album, they went on a lengthy hiatus before they released 3 easy pieces in 2007. Another very good album with plenty of good songs. This is followed by 2011 Skins, which I rate a bit lower than the previous albums. And then in 2018, we got their final album so far in Quiet and Peace, which is another good album. It is still Buffalo Tom as we know them, but the overall feeling is a little bit more relaxed and mature. Hey man, we all get that way. The album included a very good cover version of Simon & Garfunkel's The Only Living Boy in New York. Maybe my second favorite S&G song. Little fact there. Okay, with that covered, Slade Said, let's get to the songs. And before we do that, guys, just a reminder, the music will not be in the video, but there'll be a Vimeo link below. So click along and follow along with us. Let's get to number 10. And you see it below. We got The Plank off their self-titled debut album in 1988. Slade Said, it's hard to believe I've listened to this band for 35 years, but I guess I have. And I've known them since their debut album, where a friend of mine introduced me to the band. To me, 3 songs of their debut are particularly good. The opening track, Sunflower Suit, The Bus, and then the one I chose for this list, The Plank. The production of the album is somewhat lo-fi, and you could tell the Dinosaur Jr. influence here. Bill Janovich on lead vocals. All right, I'm going to have the lyrics up as always. Thanks again, Slade Said. All right, The Plank. Bill's guitar work on here is fantastic. I mean, Chris's bass work comes in there, and Tom's fantastic on the drum. I mean, the musicianship here, but the guitar work is the star for me here. It definitely is a little more lo-fi, but still great, man. I mean, I enjoy that sound. So really, really well done. Good way to kick this list off. Let's head right into number 9. We got Overtime from the album Quiet and Peace in 2018, the last album they did. So I said it's only one step from number 10 to number 9, but in terms of years and attitude, you won't find a larger step on the list than one we make here, because, yeah, look at how much time has passed, right? Our number 9 picks from their latest album, Quiet and Peace, and the energy and attitude is much more relaxed here. Overtime's a wonderful tune that could easily have lasted longer. Bill Janovich on lead vocals. Overtime, fantastic song. Definitely sound like a totally different band, right? Much more chill. That backing vocal harmony on there was really nice as well. Overtime, so we follow this woman through her life cycle, right? They knew it was going to happen, and they started getting older, and then eventually the kids all left, right? As soon as they could leave the house, and just kind of left alone. She's at home from a full day alone overtime, but the kids left home as soon as they're grown overtime. It's lonely and sad all the time. I knew it was not true. Overtime, it's the loneliest time. So the loneliest time at the end of the life because everything changes, right? I get that being a dad. You know, Trey just recently left the house like 6 months ago. My daughter Mackenzie is a junior in high school, already halfway through that. So it's not going to be long. In like a 3-year span, probably everything will have changed. Both my kids will have left from home. We have a dog that's 12 years old that's beloved, and you know, I mean, he's 12 years old. So at some point, I hate to think about it, but he won't be here, and like everything will change, and that is life, man. It's sad. So I guess the moral of that, of why I'm sharing that with you, is if you're a parent or you're younger and you have all this going, like, enjoy that time. Everybody tells you it goes fast and you're like, whatever, but it does, man. And once it's gone, there ain't no getting it back. All right. Done with Philosophy of Sean. Back to Slade Said's list. So on number 8, we got Late at Night from the album Big Red Letter Day in 1993. Slade said the song Late at Night is the most streamed song from the album on Spotify, which I was surprised to find, but maybe it's because it was used in a TV series called My So-Called Life, aired on ABC in late 1994. It only had 1 season. It's a famous show that many critics love. Claire Danes made her premiere on that. It's a slow rock song that I just like a lot. For the first time on this list, Chris is the lead singer. All right, I don't really know what this song's about. Somebody's coming in late at night. I don't know if it's literally or figuratively, but really well done. I don't like Chris quite as well as Bill on lead vocals, but still good. But the highlight of this was the guitar melody on here. The guitar melody on here was fantastic, man. Fantastic. Just kept sticking in my head. Next up, we have Not In It at number 7. Now, not with a K, not just with the N. From the album Smitten in 1998. For number 7 spot, Slade said I picked a song Not In It from their 1998 album Smitten. The album didn't do much sales-wise for the band, which probably led to them taking a break, but I believe it was a pity because it was a great album. Bill Janovich is the lead singer here. All right, Not In It. Basically, Bill's singing about a girl. I don't know if it's a girl. It could be a friend. Who knows? Who's toxic, right? And he's not in it, man. This person's causing all this damage and talks all these ways that they're causing this damage. He's not in it. As all these songs have just fantastic guitar melody on here. The bass work by Chris was really standing out as well. And then I don't mention Tom, but I mean, this type of music, if Tom's not right on, Tom McGinnis, the drummer, then it's just not going to work. So all of it is just fantastic. But the musicianship on this song, like every one of these songs, the longer it goes, the more it just sticks in your head, right? And the change up on the chorus always just, you know, sticks in the head, man. It's fantastic. All right, next up, we have Lost Downtown from the album 3 Easy Pieces in 2007. Slade said for the next time we find a song from yet another album we haven't listened to yet. It's a great mid-tempo rock song with Bill on lead vocals. Lost Downtown. I mean, well, broken record, man, but a tremendous melody, tremendous guitar work. He's just telling this girl, why don't you go away with me? And then they might get lost downtown. There's plenty of souls to say, but it just, I mean, it sticks in it. Every one of these songs just seems like they could have been a hit. I won't say I'm shocked that they weren't a big band because you come across so many people. The music landscape is littered with this from the last 60 years, right? But this is great talent that no one really knows about because I never heard of them. I only know one of their songs, I do believe. I've only heard that a few times that Slade Said brought. So it's one of those things, but another fantastic song. All right, going to the top half of this list, number 5, Velvet Roof from the album Let Me Come Over in 1992. Slade says, we now enter the top half of this list. We find the first song from my favorite Buffalo Tom album, Let Me Come Over. I can't claim to be unique on this, as you'll be hard-pressed to find any fan disagreeing wholeheartedly with this album ranking. So for once, I followed the mainstream opinion, LOL, but I mean, Slade Said just knows so much about music. This song is an up-tempo rock song with Bill on lead vocals yet again. Velvet Roof, the driving melody on that, the guitar work on there by Bill is just fantastic, man. I mean, it's almost next level. And Tom's drumming, I mean, just it's like a lot of these songs, you know, they're just so good at this, right? They know what they do well, and they do it really, really well. So another really good song. Next up, number 4, we got Postcard from the album Smitten in 1998. Slade said it's a great mid-tempo rock song of the type that Buffalo Tom are excellent at. Bill on lead vocals again. Postcard. Look, Bill understands it's not going to work out. Just send him a postcard from anywhere. I mean, every one of these songs, right? When you get into the chorus, right, that melody, the way it kicks up, I mean, it's just great, man. I absolutely love this list. I mean, this is 100% right up my alley, like musically. Still got 3 tracks left. The top 3 songs. I'm Allowed from Big Red Letter Day in 1993. Slade said it's not totally dissimilar in style to Postcard, which we just listened to, as it builds from a slow start and turns into a great mid-tempo rock song, which is one of my favorite types of songs, right? This is actually the case for all the songs in my top four, as it turns out. Bill's on the lead vocals again. I'm allowed. So this guy's aging, right? Like, he doesn't recognize anybody at the parties anymore. He's getting older and really, like, no one can help. He's a little depressed, I think, at the start. And this girl probably comes back who he was once close with, but she keeps talking about this French guy. But that's all right. She's allowed and he's allowed. Again, starts slow, builds into that chorus. I love that. So, really good song. We got 2 songs left. They're both going to be from the same album. We got Mineral from the album Let Me Come Over in 1992. So it said we only had 1 song so far from Let Me Come Over. It's about time to get one more. I'll have to say that number 1 and number 2 are very similar in both sound, style, and quality to me. And sometimes I think Mineral is probably their best song. But then, to be honest, I could probably say that about most of the songs on this list. The song, again, builds slowly from a mostly acoustic start before it takes off. It should be no surprise that Bill Janovitz is the lead singer here. Creating this list has made it pretty clear that I seem to prefer his songs to Chris Colburn's. I actually hadn't considered that before. We only had 1 Chris song, right? All right. Mineral. You're so green, you're so green. I mean, that's what it should be called, right? You came in the kitchen, rose held high. I never want to see young flowers die. And hearing all that made me feel like a spy. To tell you any different would be a lie. Merry Christmas, you said to me. Empty drawers, nothing left for me. We turned around now, and what did we see? All our whispers and transparencies. You're so green, you're so green. So some pretty good songwriting on here as well, but I mean, like every single song on here. Great guitar melody. Great lead vocals from Bill on here. Got 1 song left. It's a song that I know. Taillights Fade from the album. You got it. Let Me Come On Over. Or Let Me Come Over, 1992. So it said, and so here we are at number 1. I've picked this song for lists on this channel a couple of times already. First for a top 10 of 90s alternative rock bands, where I placed it at number 1. And once in a live version by Pearl Jam featuring Bill Janovitz. It's a fantastic song, I think, and the most famous song, even if that doesn't say a lot, unfortunately, because they don't have many famous songs. So I've heard this song twice, but if memory serves me right, and it does, it's fantastic. All right, Tail Lights Fade. This guy's battling depression, some alcohol issues, right? Sometimes those go hand in hand. Maybe you're depressed because you're on the alcohol. More likely you're depressed, so you're drinking to try to help that. But things haven't quite gone right for him. But this song is fantastic. This is the right choice for number 1. There's a lot of good songs on here. I really do think this is the right choice for number 1. I added it to my current faves playlist. I don't know why I haven't done that before, but it got the ad, man. It got the ad. And although he reads about this girl, she was a hermit in her world. Her story was much like mine. She could be my Valentine. So this is telling about himself when he's even talking about this other girl, right? He's really telling us about himself. And although we've never met, I won't forget her yet. She cut herself off from her past. Now she's alone at last. I feel so sick, lost love's last licks, but I'm closing down on it. I feel so weak on a losing streak. Watch my taillights fade to black. So it's, I'm underneath a gun. I'm singing about my past. Had myself a wonderful thing, but I could not make it last. So he blew some things. I've hit the wall. I'm about to fall, but I'm closing in on it. I feel so small underneath it all. And then my watch my taillights fade to black is repeated 4 times without the 2 black. Just watch my taillights fade. It's just a fantastic song, man. It's just a fantastic song. And that's going to bring me to the very difficult task of picking my favorite songs. Honorable mentions: Overtime, not in it. Faves are going to be Lost Downtown, Postcard, Mineral, and of course Taillights Fade, right? I already gave it. So that's 6 of them. So I did a good job. I eliminated 4 of them. I like those 4 as well, right? I could have just said the whole list, but I'm trying to get better at nailing some of these lists down of favorites, especially Slade Said's. It always brings me a lot of stuff that I really, really like. This one in particular, I really, really like. I've got to jump into Buffalo Tom. This is my kind of music. I just need to go run their discography. So let me know your faves of Buffalo Tom down below. Thank you so much for joining me. Thanks, Slade Said, for putting this together again. And until next time, guys, I will see you.